Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
You know, Justin, there's a lot of games on Facebook, and there's a lot of just conversation starters of, man, if you could just go back in time, what would you do over? If you could go back to high school, what would you do over? Who would you have asked out that you didn't ask out? And who did you ask out? And you're like, man, glad I didn't marry that, because now I'm looking at it Facebook 30 years later and I'm like, I dodged a bullet, right? You know, there's so much. What if we could go back in time? But for this purposes, I want to talk about real estate and investing in real estate and home ownership. I'm considerably older than you. I probably got a decade on you. I look younger, which is amazing. I'm in a lot better shape.
Wow. And you're in a lot better shape.
Yeah. I got a decade on you, so I've got a lot more experiences in real estate in the sense of lost opportunities and some horrific real estate mistakes that I've made over the years. The market crash of 2007, I could go all morning talking about what that did to my life. I only got like a third of a cup here of whiskey, so I don't have enough drink to talk about that. But I want to talk about, like, if we could just go back in time. Like, what would you do differently when it comes down to real estate? When did you buy your first house? And walk me through that.
Sure. So if I could go back, I would do it completely different on real estate. Actually, I was just having a conversation with my daughter about this on Sunday, and I was telling her what she's going to be doing. She has no choice. And so with her, I take 50% of any gift that is given to her, and I invest it.
So that's why she doesn't get much Halloween candy. Like, she brings the
and I sell
trick or treat bag.
Yeah,
you're taking half.
Yeah, no, the candy can go. We throw that away, actually, most of it.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I'm gonna go with Snickers.
Snickers, yeah. I like
delicious.
Snickers. The little Three Musketeers, though, you gotta put it in the freezer. Now, you might chip a tooth or two, but they're delicious. And don't be that guy that gives me just vegetables and pretzels and things like
pretzels,
that.
No,
that's
I'm
not what
going out there
Halloween's
for
all.
pretzels.
Don't be that guy.
No.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, sorry.
No. So take 50% of what's gifted to her, meaning money only, and I invest it into stocks. But the day she turns 18, she gets this money back. Okay, and she's going to be buying a home. She's going to be buying a home. She's going to be, actually, I'm not going to make it right at 18. The day she graduates high school, she's going to get this money, and then she's going to be buying a home. She's going to live in it for a year. And again, this is what I would do.
I know a couple great real estate wealth managers that can help her out.
She's going to live in it for a year.
And I know a couple lenders that might be able to help her out too.
Absolutely. And then she's going to buy another home.
I'm getting all sidetracked. I don't even know the answer. Are you allowed to do your own loans? Like, if you were going
I
to
cannot do my own loan,
okay, I got
but
you.
I can do my daughter's loan.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she's going to do that. She's going to continue to buy a home every single year, and she's going to rent out the previous primary until she starts getting into a family. So I'm hoping, God willing, she doesn't get into a family until she's 30, 40 years old.
Yeah, we're hoping at least it's not 18, right?
And I'm hoping that she can get at least 10 homes. And I tell her, I said, how nice would it be to have 10 homes that other people are paying your mortgage for? And by the time you get to the 10th home, you're making an incredible amount of money on the first home because rents are going to continue to go up.
For the Recon Group, we have a name for that. We call it Reconomics.
Yeah.
And it is a path like that that's achievable for anyone that is responsible enough to save money, keep good credit, and willing to move. I mean, it's a remarkable plan where you could wake up one day, 40 years from now, when you retire, have millions of dollars in almost cash assets, $15,000 a month in positive cash flow coming in, and you owe nothing. There's no mortgages.
So and that's my point to her. I said, let's say you buy your first home at 18
How
years
old
old.
is she?
She's 14.
Okay, my son's 14.
Yeah.
So I've got some ideas here.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like
Oh,
she's,
boy.
Yeah, he did just recently get expelled from school.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I don't know.
I saw the video. So by the time she's 50 years old, that mortgage is going to be paid off.
Yes.
By the time she's 60 years old, she's going to have a retirement income whether she invests anything into a 401k or not. All these homes are going to be paying her for rent. So when it comes to buying the home, people may be asking, well, how is she going to be able to buy a home when she's just barely 18 and she doesn't have any credit? Well, guess what? She's going to be put on my cards as an authorized user, so I'm going to give her credit. And then the day she turns 18, she's going to have credit cards.
How old do they have to be a...
My dad, so that's a good question, and I don't know the official answer to that, but my dad put me on his credit card when I was 16 years old.
Would you do me a
as an
favor and look
authorized
that
user.
into it?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, because my oldest is 17.
Yeah.
And I'm, yeah.
You gotta get started.
We're gonna do the same thing with them. My story is similar. I mean, you kind of talked about if you had to do it all over again, you put it in terms of what you're fixing the problem for your kids so that they can avoid
Right.
the mistakes. For me, it's kind of similar. I don't know how many homes I've owned. It's, being in real estate, you move a lot. And I think my wife and I probably together have lived in 9 or 10 different homes. But I have 6 homes, and I started, my very first home I ever bought was, I think, in 1998. I bought it for $87,500 on the 13th fairway of the Western Skies Golf Course in Gilbert. I paid $87,500 for this sucker. And a year later, I had to move because of job.
Okay.
No one, and my broker at the time, my real estate agent, and this right here is what differentiates us as real estate wealth managers. No one said, hey, see if you can buy home number 2 without having to sell home number 1. Never occurred to me. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing with home number 3, home number 4. Before I learned about Reconomics and before I started getting into building wealth in real estate, I was just moving from home to home to home. Had I not, and looking back, I didn't have to sell any of them. I just sold because that was the assumption that every buyer makes, that if I'm going to buy home number 2, I got to sell the home that I'm in. I have 6 homes that I should own right now. I have other homes that I own, but I have 6 homes that still should be part of my real estate portfolio. And we're looking at, 1998. So in 5 years, that very first home would be completely paid off. And then the next year, home number 2 would be completely paid off. And then in 2 years, home number 3. If I could go back and do it all over again, I wouldn't have sold any of those homes.
Right. And I just want to make a couple points here too. And people may be asking, well, where are you going to get the down payment from if you're not going to sell that house? Well, you're going to leverage that home. You're going to get a home equity line of credit on that house, and you're going to use those funds from that home equity line of credit to purchase another home. The other point I want to make is it doesn't matter, and I didn't say this initially because I have a plan, and it doesn't matter what time in the market it is. She's going to buy a home. She's going to buy another house. It doesn't matter if you think it's the right time or not. You can always find a reason not to buy. But I'll tell you what, no matter what time in the market it is, 10 years down the road, that home's going to have a ton of equity, no matter what time it is in the market.
Well, that's the other thing people ask me. This is one of the common questions I get right now. Is this the right time to buy? The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. It's always the right time to buy, but it always depends on motives, and it depends on buying right. And that's kind of what we do. It's always the right time to buy as long as you buy right.
Correct.
And don't buy stupid.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So the other thing that I think if I had to go back in time, I would spend, and this would be my advice to our a lot younger audience members, those in college, just getting out of college, jobs and so forth, of one, understanding real estate, going through the motions of understanding how money works, how real estate works, attach yourself to someone like us, a real estate wealth manager, and get mentorship. And you'll come across these mentorship programs. Hey, join this mentorship program. It's only going to cost you $15,000.
Right.
You know what? You show up, you get all jazzed, and then you know what? The next phase is going to cost you $15,000. So that's what I'm talking about. Maybe grandma and grandpa, maybe they have done this over the years, or maybe mom and dad have done. Attach yourself to someone that understands how money works and how real estate works.
And I would do the same thing. And you're talking about the college kids, the younger kids, and here's something that I would say is I spent a lot of money on my first credit card. I spent a lot of money on things that I don't even know what I spent it on. I maxed out a $10,000 card.
Oh.
And I think it was mostly at the bar, buying drinks for everybody because I had credit limits that would allow me to. And then, I put myself into debt and put my credit at a really low level. And you know what's crazy about it is I was going through finance classes at the time.
Oh my God. Well, it's funny is with my story is when I got to college, and as a matter of fact, one of my very dear friends, Sharon Lechter, she's the co-author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She was part of the movement, I don't know whether it was the Senate or Congress or whatever the case is, to no longer allow credit card companies to be on college campuses. When I went to college, and I moved away to college when I was a junior, there was Citibank.
Yeah.
They were giving out free hats and free sweatshirts. So I got the Citibank card and so forth. And I fast forward, I was talking to my wife about it. I go, yeah, the customer service is great. They call me every month. And she goes, that's not good. She goes, they're not supposed to be calling you. They're calling you because you're behind on your payments. Yeah. My credit was so jacked. So that would be another thing if I could go back in time, understand my credit and protect my credit.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a big place. And I don't think very many young kids understand that if you don't have good credit, you're going to be paying a lot more to borrow money. And that's going to set you back. And it's a hole that you don't understand that you're in. Your credit card interest rates are much higher. Your car loan interest rates are much higher. Your home loan interest rates are much higher. You got to protect that credit. You got to take care of that credit at all costs.
Last thing that if I could go back, and we want to encourage everybody, if you want to learn more, to text the word wealth to 623-AZ-RECON. Again, that's wealth to 623-AZ-RECON. We talked about attaching yourself to somebody. If you want some advice, you want to get a free consultation. We call them skull sessions. That's kind of our little creative word. We should call them recon skull sessions, right? Because we're marketing geniuses. But go ahead and text the word wealth to 623-AZ-RECON. My other regret, if I could go back, and it was about, I think I was about 29, 30 years old. I had this job, and we were in the same parking lot as AJ's.
All right.
And for those of you who don't know AJ's, it's a fine food grocery store. Their pastry selection is just off the chart. So every morning it was a chocolate croissant. And so this was going on.
That's why you got that great body, right?
Yeah, right. Well, that's where this is leading. And at that same time, you start to realize your metabolism is slowing down. Mm-hmm. And if I could go back in time, I'd stay active every day. Mm-hmm. Just do something every single day. So I try to every day to do something active, and I try to stretch every single day because
at this point, staying limber is such a big deal, right?
No one likes pulling muscles getting out of bed, and I've done it before.
Absolutely, I feel the same way.
All right, I wouldn't change my drinking habits. I don't necessarily know if I would change my eating habits because I enjoy it. I just would be continuing to do something to combat the weight gain.
Yeah, the bad part though, and I wish it wasn't this way, is 90% of it is eating and drinking.
It is. My son, who's 17, he's a gym rat. He likes to show us his six-pack.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, you got a six-pack? I go, nope, I got a 2-liter bottle. That's what it looks like. All right. Well, we want you to reach out to us if you'd like to learn more about building wealth in real estate. All you got to do is text the word wealth to 623-AZ-RECON. That's wealth to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.